Hello and welcome to COM 252, the study of interpersonal communication. My name is Amanda Simmons and I will be your instructor for this course. This week, we're going to be talking a little bit about Chapter 1, which is the study of interpersonal communication. As I've noted in the syllabus and other announcements, that this course can really change the way that you communicate if you choose to devote the time and energy it takes to do this. Every semester that I teach this class, I think of one area of my communication that I need to improve on. Maybe it's technology. Sometimes it's listening. Sometimes it's empathy. Sometimes it's knowing the difference in that quantitative and that qualitative communication. And I really studied that area, and I think this is where I need to improve, and how can I improve? My suggestion and my charge to you is this semester, figure out one area of your communication style that you need to improve on and work towards that throughout the semester. So as we study these chapters and as we talk about the different elements, you are actually putting into practice what you can do to help become a better communicator. So first, let's jump right off into this. Let's talk about Chapter 1 just a little bit. I'm only going to hit the highlights. I like to keep these videos close to 5 minutes as possible, so I only hit a couple of highlights. It's not that these are more important. These are just areas that I want to discuss for this time. Sometimes I just type them all out, and sometimes I post a video, but I'll always let you know in the announcement section. Chapter 1, the study of interpersonal. Before we can change anything about who we are and why we communicate, we have to know why we communicate. And there's several different examples the text give you, and it's right off the bat when you start reading in Chapter 1. The first thing that I really want you to notice is identity. I've always found it really interesting that communication helps us to identify who we are and where we're going. I think of it this way. How do you know that you're a good athlete? How do you know that you're good at writing? How do you know that you're good at studying? How do you know that you're good at teaching? How do you know that you're good at anything without somebody saying to you, hey, you're really good at that? That's awesome. Or look at how many goals you've gotten. That's amazing. I can really see that you go far. We take those praises and then we realize that, hey, maybe we're good at this and maybe this is something we can accomplish. Maybe that we think it seems natural, but other people do too. And so that encouragement shields us to go forward, right? It tells us to go forward. So the one thing of why we need to communicate is identity. So think about all of that throughout your past life of people saying things to you about what you were good at and what looked good and what didn't. And take that and run with it. I think that's an interesting concept. Another one that I really want you to know a lot about is the communication model. The communication model is really important for us to know at the very beginning. Because first of all, you have a sender and you have a receiver, which can also be known as AB. So the sender sends a message to the receiver catches it, then that receiver becomes the sender, and then the sender becomes the receiver. So it looks like communication would be very much of a circle, continuous, right? Well, what happens is that we get noise, and noise kind of comes up in the middle of that, and it disrupts any kind of communication that we're having. And there's different kinds of noises, internal and external. And then in between, you have the mediums of how you're communicating, whether it's a telegram, who uses telegram, email, text message, a story, whatever, face-to-face, the phone. So that the communication model explains really why we have so many miscommunications in our world and in our communications. The other thing that I want you to kind of really dig into is communication misconceptions, such as the more communication, the better. Is that really true? And why or why not is that true? And the last thing in this chapter that I kind of wanted just to kind of briefly kind of go over is quantitative and qualitative communication. Think of it this way. Quantitative is how much, and qualitative is how quality it is. What's the value? So for this course, what do you think we're going to be studying? Quantitative or qualitative communication? These are just a few key things that I wanted to hit on. Want to make sure that you read and that you know a lot about. And I look forward to working with you this semester. And please, if you have any questions, email me. Thanks, and see you the next time.